everybody!
Woohoo!
It is once again time for the Geek Dad Report. The one show dedicated, formulated, specially created, and to bring you guys all the nerd news you need to know, all while putting a smile on your beautiful little happy faces. Or maybe sad faces, but that's why we're here, to put a smile on your face. To make you laugh, to entertain you, to give you free enjoyment, and make your life just a little bit better than it was. Not saying your life wasn't good, maybe it was great, but listening to our show will definitely make it even better and greater.
That's our mission statement right there.
That's a long mission statement. Can we put that on a t-shirt?
I think we need to write it down at some point.
Just put it all into like Brian Rambles, and we're here to make your life just a little bit better. I'm Brian West, the hostess with the absolute rambling mostess.
And I'm Ryan Thomason, and both of my kids are sleeping.
It's because you're like 19 hours ahead, and it's 3 a.m. where you're at.
Yeah, it's very early.
You're like in South Australia. Over here, it's 8 o'clock in the summer. My kids are watching Man of Steel, which makes me very proud, by the way. My youngest gets to pick her movie. She's like, it's my turn to pick a movie. I'm like, what do you want to watch? She gets Superman. Then she puts on a cape and runs around the house.
Yeah, you can't argue much with that.
Dad of the year right here.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see what I was going to say. Oh, yeah. Hey, everybody. If you get your notifications later tonight, from your YouTubes, and you're like, oh, look, episode 143 of the Geek Dad Report is now available to watch, but it's only Wednesday. What's going on?
Well, everybody, tomorrow is Brian's birthday, and he turned 24 years old. And
only one more year till cheaper insurance. I'm so excited.
Yes. So we can't record on his birthday because his wife got birthday surprises. And anyone that knows Brian and his wife, you know that birthday surprises are very important in the West household.
Yeah, so they involve ice cream. Yeah, think about that. Let that simmer in your brain for a little while. Oh yeah.
Maybe a little bit. We pour like some of the chocolate.
Oh yeah, it's gonna have chocolate sauce and whipped cream, and there's gonna be some sprinkles. Maybe even a cherry.
Ooh.
Possibly
two
even
cherries
some cake.
Or just one cherry.
2 cherries. That's how I roll. 2 cherries, 1 birthday. That's And there's probably gonna be some cake and definitely some frosting.
Yeah, I'm more of a pie person, but you can go crazy on that cake.
There's only one pie that's acceptable on a birthday, and that's fucking apple pie. And if you say anything else, you're fired.
I'm just going to say, I love Dutch apple pie. That is my favorite. So
it's all the fucking same. Apple pie is apple pie, Ryan. Don't be that guy.
There's lattice apple pie. This is okay, but then there's Dutch apple pie. It's got like all the crumbly stuff on top.
Dutch caramelized apple pie is the best thing on the planet. But next is birthday cake and ice cream, which is what I'm going to have tomorrow.
Yes.
Anyway, what we're talking about?
But we're talking about episode number 143 of the Geek Dad Report.
That you get a whole day early. Right. So my birthday gift to you guys is us a whole day early. Yeah.
It's very generous of you to do for your birthday.
You can ask anybody who knows me, especially my wife. I'm a giver.
Yeah. He's a giver of people, and he only takes.
I only take what is mine. I don't know what that means. No, yeah, tomorrow night my family has a birthday surprise for me, and I'm, hopefully what Ryan was, hinting at also happens. But the birthday surprise that my wife currently has for me involves a birthday cake, presents, and probably my children at dinner.
My birthday surprise for you is when you're sleeping, I'm going to whisper something into your ear, and then
how is that even possible? You are in South Australia. Even if you got on an airplane right now.
I have been planning this all year long, Brian.
Is this like my Oprah moment? Is it so like you're like, now bring him out, yes, and you're like in the other room, and I said no. You were like, which would be really creepy because that would mean that you've camped out in my house without anybody telling me for God knows how long. Set up a recording booth and started recording.
Very true.
Probably watched me in the shower earlier, too.
Yeah. Things are going to happen, Brian. Just
Whoa.
so you know.
You know what? You sound a lot like a sexual predator right now. I'm not
Huh.
gonna lie.
Well,
You want to come? You want to come in
as
my
long
room while
as
I'm
you
sleeping, and have a surprise for me, and whisper
Yeah.
things into my ear, and then I don't know what's
Well,
coming.
well, just remember that I can't see in the dark. So, as long as you leave at least one light
So
on
if I
for me,
stick like my dog's butt on my pillow and leave, you're just gonna wander in there, and you'll just be snuggling up to a dog butt.
yeah, it's very possible. Okay. That's just how bad it
That's
is.
really gross. One, but two, it has given me great ideas the next time we hang out.
But I
We're
think we're handling them way too
We'll,
much.
we'll talk
We
about
need
that.
to get back on
We'll
track.
talk about that some other time. But yeah, anyway, we got a full show for you guys. We got a whole bunch of news. We got some great questions. Yeah, so we're going to have a good episode for you guys. Maybe a day early, but we're not skipping on the content. We also have a couple after shows we're going to do. We have a spoiler. We're going to review a movie about a certain Superman dying. Wonder what that could be.
Ooh, I don't know, Brian.
And another spoiler. Speaking of spoilers, Ryan is going to spoil yet another movie for himself and for everybody else when we have our review of Mission Impossible Fallout. Both episodes are going to be coming in the after show, so you guys will have those probably Saturday and probably Monday.
Yeah. Yes, and I'm going to be relentless in asking for spoiler questions on this one.
Yeah, so there you go. Got
Just so you guys know, I'm going all in.
All right, well, before we start, you got anything you want to talk about? How was your week? Anything new?
I've been working overtime every single day. That's fun.
That's not fun. That's a lie.
And then my kids had soccer tournaments on the weekend.
Did they win?
What's that?
Did they win?
They got third place.
Well, did you tell them, did you look them right in the eyes and be like, that's good, but if you're not first, you're last. Get out of my car and walk home.
Yes, this is exactly what we said.
I'm very proud of you, Ryan. You're taking a big
curve.
step. Big step in your child's future.
Yeah, well, it's nothing, not a lot of stuff going on in my household right now. Very drama free.
Well, that's good.
Except for my kids trying to murder each other, you know.
No, that's like a daily dad thing.
Yeah, that's just
Dealing with
normal.
your kids wanting, like, they love each other and then they want to murder each other. And it happens like every 30 seconds.
Yeah, and then they'll be sitting on the couch like everything's fine, and the next thing you know, like
Nice. Sounds fun. Yeah, what did I have this week? Well, I went out last weekend for my birthday. Special shout out to everybody who came out and had a good time. There may or may not be about a 2-minute video of me dancing on stage at a piano bar because they called my name.
It was very tantalizing.
Yes, and if you look very closely, I'm wearing my Star Wars button-up shirt that my daughter, my 5-year-old, bought me for Father's Day and just sobbed it uncontrollably until I put it on to go out in. And so I had to wear the matching R2-D2 socks. So if you look very closely, you can see me in my full Star Wars attire out gigging at the piano bar. But I did also give a special shout out to my good friend Rachel. She got me this awesome T-Rex Rexy Pop for my birthday.
Rad.
And that thing pretty cool. Look how awesome that is.
I think we need more small T-Rexes in our lives.
We do. I want the matching Velociraptor, but I feel like it's going to be roughly the same size, which will be just disappointing. I feel like it should have been, the T-Rex needs to be bigger, but whatever. It's pretty cool. The fun part is because of its mouth, the way it is, we had a lot of fun times pretending like it was drinking all night long. So if you hook it on your cups, you can make it like it's drinking. Yeah, look at that. Pretty cool. Fun. You know, whatever. People, I hear you judging me over the internet. I may be 40, but I am mentally 12.
Well, you're not 40 yet, Brian. You can still milk out.
24 years old. I cannot wait to get that cheap insurance next year.
Yeah, you're just getting all the numbers mixed up in your head.
But we had a good time. I did have you know what? On a down note, I mean, I don't want to get too ranty. I want to get into the news here, but I'm going to take a couple minutes. I did have my first experience of online bullshit that my daughters are going to have to unfortunately deal with in the gaming community. Yeah, so
I'm not looking forward to this.
Yeah, so you know what? Me and Ryan talked about this a little bit before the show where we talk about it because we want to have a fun show today. But you know what? It's kind of a PSA. most of the people who watch our show are parents. I mean, if you're not a parent, you watch our show, thank you.
It turned into a little bit of a serious dad talk.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have kids and you watch our show, thank you. But hopefully this is a little something you get to look forward to once you do have children. You know, occasionally you run across things that you don't want to really have to deal with, but you're like, fuck, man. This is where you're like, nostalgia is better, and you want to go back to the day when you were a kid on some of these things, mostly due to the internet. The internet is great. It allows me and Ryan to talk over long distances, over 17 oceans. Me and Ryan are able to talk to each other because of the wonderful magic of the internet. But unfortunately for kids, all gaming now is pretty much done online, and everybody plays online. I mean, in fact, most kids now don't even want to play like PlayStation or Xbox or Nintendo. They want to play iPods and iPads, and they want to play these little social media games. They want to play games over Facebook, and they want to play, games over Snapchat, and they want to play online games, and they want to play these mass MMOs that are sprouting up everywhere. And so my daughter had been playing this one game called...
They don't want to sit down next to their friend and talk to them, sitting down in the same room, playing on a controller that's connected. Listen,
I don't want to be that dad who's super prudy and be like, no, you are not going to play video games. Like, I get it, and I understand they want to play games with their friends. Now, my daughter, my 9-year-old, I don't let her have a Facebook account or a Snapchat account just because I don't want her to... I don't want her to get...
She doesn't need one.
Well, I don't want her to get sucked into this world of I need people to like my posts or like me or be my friend, right? I mean, it's hard enough for adults to manage that. And if you look online, most adults can't even manage that. And I just don't want my kids yet to have to deal with that, right? And it's hard because a lot of her friends' parents don't give a shit. And they have... all these different things, and it's whatever. I mean, it's each parent's choice to do what you want to do, but for my kids, I just didn't want to expose them to that. And we already had to. She had this app she loved on her iPod or iPad. It's called Musical.ly. It's like a musical app where you kids can sing along like karaoke, but they post videos of them singing, and they can send them to their friends. It's kind of like Facebook a little bit, but you post, I mean, it's not nearly as intricate as Facebook, but you post like little videos and you share them to your friends, and people can up-like it, they can leave comments. And so, we were looking at her account, and she was already, we didn't know it was this social. We thought you could only share videos with a couple people, but it's not like that. I mean, you put it out there, and you can share with whoever, and anybody can see them. Yeah. And so, she already had like people wanting her to, hey, what are you wearing? And there was like these, right? And she's like, well, I just ignore those. And I'm like, well, it doesn't matter. I don't want you to even have to deal with this. And her friends, and like, we saw this whole chat line she had like on her little profile where she's like, did you like my video? If you did, hit like. If you want me another one, send me another like. And I'm just like, I'm not playing this game, right? Where I don't want you like putting yourself out there for likes.
That's when you take the iPad and you hold down that one button to make them all start jiggling.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if me and Ryan did this show for likes, we would have quit years ago. I mean, I'll be... Yeah. What the hell was that? Very true. Upstairs doing backflips, it sounds like.
Although we do like all the likes.
I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I have a 2-story house. My kids are upstairs right now, and I'm pretty sure they're doing ninja moves up there because I just heard somebody do a backflip.
Yeah. Well, as long as no one's crying.
Yeah, no one's correct.
Okay.
But yeah, so we had to get rid of this Musical.ly app, and so now she's been playing this game called Roblox, which I know a lot of people play it. But basically, it's kind of like a Sims game. It looks very cartoony. You have an online world where you can meet and go talk to your friends, and then you can go off and play little games. It's pretty harmless for the most part, but it has 48 million people online right now are playing, and I mean, there's filters, so you can't. It's not like an open chat where you can be like walk up to somebody in the game and be like, "Hey, you want to see my wiener?" But you can still start conversations and you can still do stuff. And she started talking about the other day, and she's at her daycare providers and she's playing it over there. We didn't quite know how intricate this game was. We didn't know how online this game was. We knew that she could talk to her friends, but it's on. But so I kind of looked into it, and I was like, there's a lot of people online. So she started talking to us about it, and you could tell something kind of had upset her, and we finally got it out of her. She breaks into tears. So apparently over the last month or so, she's playing the game, but she's constantly getting these boy avatars coming up to her, wanting to know if they want to be her girlfriend, want to know what she's wearing, want to know what she looks like. You can't say things like you can't say things like sex. They just don't want you to put the word in there together because it's, because it is supposed to be for kids. But if you put hashtags in between it, you can say whatever you want to. So she had one boy who kept saying, hashtagging sex to her, and sex and sex and sex, and following her around, and she just leave me alone and goes off and does her things. But she didn't want to tell us because she has a whole bunch of her friends from school that's on the game, and they meet up and they go play little games with each other. And it was heartbreaking. It really was, because I'm listening to her this. Honestly, she's being harassed in a video game at 9 years old.
Yeah.
And to me, it was, we've talked about the Me Too movement on here, and we've talked, we're not going to get too political today, but, we've talked about, me and Ryan are both raising girls. I have 2 daughters. We've talked a lot about, becoming more aware of what it is that women are trying to tell us, hey, guys can be assholes, and a lot of times we are, and trying to be open and understanding of what it is that our partners in life are trying to tell us. And we've always tried to take a very open-minded view, and we've always tried to be on that side. But honestly, until that moment, I never quite understood everything, right? And I still don't understand everything. But I hear it in context, and I'm like, you're right. You shouldn't be harassed, and you shouldn't be, and I absolutely believe that. But until my daughter brought it to me and brings this to me, it finally it broke my goddamn heart, to be honest with you, because I'm literally seeing her crying because she's being harassed by hopefully little boys her own age. Who knows? They could have been 40-year-old men. But
that's what I've heard about. My son's been asking about doing Roblox, and my wife she's 100% against it. I just say, you got Minecraft. I mean, and you can play with your sister, and you can only play it with your friends, that I have allowed onto your Microsoft account.
Yeah, so we made this family decision that she wasn't going to play it anymore. Part of me, and I know people say, well, you can't, you got to prepare for the real world. Well, yeah, I get that, but what's bullshit is that is the fucking real world. Parents, if you have sons, please, for the love of God, for my sake, teach them that kind of shit's not okay. Just don't be an asshole. There's time and a place. There's a time and a place as they get older. And listen, asking a girl if she wants to be your girlfriend is totally fine. But online in a computer game when you know that she's not going to... it's just stupid. And it's just... It's not fair. It is not fair that a little girl who just wants to play some games has to be subjected to unwanted, I know I don't want to say sexual advances because they're not being sexual advanced, but unwanted attention from boys just because she's a girl. And it's not fucking fair. And I know girls have been saying this has been going on for a long time, and it's not that we didn't believe you, or I didn't believe any of you guys, but this is my first real experience of having it in my face and having to really understand what that means and how it makes someone feel. And it's fucked up, man. It's infuriating.
Yeah.
And I feel bad. Having to sit there, it was sad because I'm talking to her and I'm like, hey, just understand, guys are terrible, and you're going to have to deal with this. And even when the words came out of my mouth, I'm like, but why does she have to fucking deal with this?
Yeah, you shouldn't have to tell your freaking daughter that. That's why my daughter's 8 right now, and she asked to do those kind of games, and I just say no, because, and it's not because I don't want to deal with it, it's that I don't think that she's ready for something like that to happen. And it's going to happen. I mean,
and I know it's going to happen, and I'm not going to protect my kid forever from this stuff. I mean, she's going to understand that because even if the world changes and things become much more equal, there's still going to be an element that does this, right? It's never, but it's just all I'm saying to parents. If you have little girls, be aware of this stuff. It's not nice. It's not good. That Musical.ly app I was talking about is literally one of the #1 rated apps for sexual predators to try and lure children. There's a lot of games that are socially linked, and there's a lot of harassment even going on from younger kids who probably don't even realize they're harassing, but they are, and it's having a very negative effect on our children, right? So be aware of that, and if you have boys, just be aware that, hey, talk to your sons and just be like, hey, respect women. And when you're playing video games, you're there to play a game. You're not there to try and pick up girls. You're there to play a game and make friends. And tell
your sons that if a girl says no, that means you just turn around and you fucking walk away.
it's getting to the point where, you know what? I think as guys, we need to hold ourselves accountable to understanding situations, right? We have to understand that, like, listen, if you're online playing a video game with a girl, the first thing you shouldn't ask her is what she's wearing or what she's, this isn't a situation to try and pick up a girl. If you meet some girl online and you start playing and you interact and you hit it off and then you want to talk, that's fine. But this is the thing. We as guys got to hold ourselves more accountable, right? I mean, we're mature enough to understand context and situational awareness, right? There are some places you just don't talk about this shit. And I don't think until we start teaching our children that, like, hey, it's okay to talk to a girl. It's okay to see if she likes you if you have conversations and you can tell she likes you.
And they might be more confident in doing it online instead of doing it in person.
Well, and not just that. I mean, honestly, if I found out my son did it online, I would make him walk up to a random stranger and say, do you want to be my girlfriend? And if he says no, I would say, well, then why are you doing it online?
Yeah.
Because that is literally the equivalent of doing the exact same thing. And you know what? Liking a girl is not a bad thing. Asking a girl out is not a bad thing, but we have got to take we've got to take more ownership of this shit and stop. Kids are being kids. No, kids aren't being kids, because that kid today who's just willing to walk up and randomly say sex to a girl he doesn't know, what is he doing in 10 years from now? Because no one's told him that's wrong. So what's next? And it's just, I don't know, whatever. I mean, like I said, I was a little frustrated. It was not a moment that I expected I was going to be having, and it really pissed me off that I had to have it, right?
But, I mean, it is a moment that we're all going to have to deal with as fathers with daughters. I mean, it's going to happen. And
my daughter will be prepared. And you know what? Chuck, I hope them boys are prepared, because Chuck might hunt you down. Remember Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back? When they get their movie money, and what do they do with it? They go online to find everybody who made a bad comment about him and, like, repeatedly kick the shit out of him. That might be Charlie. Yeah. So, hey. Good luck, boys.
That's why she's my inside.
When you walk up to Chuck and say, sex, and she's like, that's cool. And then, in a week and a half, when you get some crazy girl with pigtails in your door with a switchblade, don't be mad. Don't be mad. You had it coming. Yeah. You like being harassed? That's what happens. Anyway, whatever. We do not condone showing up at people's doorsteps with switchblades. It was all a joke and a metaphor. Just throwing it out there.
So don't let your kids play Roblox.
Yeah. How about that's the much longer than anticipated wind of Ryan saying, watch what your kids are playing. Take an active interest in what your kids are playing, and do not just assume that the iPhone filters are going to catch these things.
And if you're not lazy, a lot of these games and accounts the parents set up, they give you the options of having, like, monitoring systems, like
or on
our Xbox each of my kids have their own account, yes, but I get a email on all the hours that they play on and which game that they play, who they're talking to. If they try and do any searches or anything like that. So, I mean, there are ways to monitor what your kids are doing. You just need to be a proactive parent.
There you go. Well, there's our little rant for the day. Like I said, we want to have fun. So we promise the rest of the show is going to be fun, but we felt that was important to have that conversation. Yeah. So, besides, I wanted to rant about it.
It's been a while since we dove into some real parenting situation. So,
like I said, occasionally I like to be mad about something, but you know what I'm not mad about, Ryan? The Ninja News, because we have some freaking great news, and I'm going to give you one guess, Ryan. What kind of news would get me as excited to talk about the news as I am right now?
Star Trek. Battlestar Galactica.
If we were in the same room together, I would beat you with this lightsaber. I would just crack you in the dome until you look like freaking Snoke with the head all dented in. Probably not the cut in half part, because that's just gross.
Are you talking about Star Wars?
Yes, I'm talking about goddamn Star Wars, Ryan. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, Star Trek sucked. Still does. No, I like Star Trek. In a galaxy far, far away, Star Wars Episode 9 has begun filming! Dun, 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 dun,
it was kind of sad.
Even T-Rex is excited. You excited, Rexy?
It was like a happy, but it was like a happy and a sad announcement.
It was all happy. I mean, there's definitely. I mean, I get what you're going for on this one, but I was really excited. Yes, episode 9 has officially started production as of today. And last week, I think last Friday, we got a lot of news about the cast. And we have some, not spoilers. Everything in here, I guess, could be considered spoiler if you want to know anything. But we do not do the spoilers on this show. So these are mostly just rumors and things that could happen in the next episode. So we're going to talk about that right now. Episode 9, Ryan. We have Star Wars, real Star Wars news to talk about. Yes. And not about like people going like, The Last Jedi sucks and I hate everything Star Wars and Kathleen Kennedy's a dirty feminist lesbian asshole. And no, none of that shit. You like that? Yeah. Go watch some other asshole podcast. On our show, we talk about the good stuff, which is J.J. Abrams is back. Kathleen Kennedy's still in charge because she's fucking awesome. And episode 9 is filming. And who is coming back for episode 9,
is going to be in it.
What?
And Billy D. Williams is going to be in it.
I feel like I'm just really excited and you're just like taking a step back. Like, I'm just going to let him run and do his thing.
I don't have a thing to do. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about doing my whatever. Anyway, one really cool thing is the big question was, what Luke Skywalker. Is he coming back? Is he not coming back? If you haven't seen The Last Jedi, go watch The Last Jedi. It's for free on Neflix right now. But spoiler alert, he dies at the end of that, and a lot of people had no idea about what was going to happen. Most of us assumed he'd come back as a Force ghost. Well, he disappeared at the end of The Last Jedi.
Yeah, strongly he implying that he had off the rock.
Yeah, strongly implying that he'd become one with the Force. But I guess JJ could technically retcon his death if they wanted to bring him back physically. But
he was force projecting from one planet
across
to another
the solar system
on the fucking other side of the galaxy.
Yeah, he fucking died. All right, I'm just saying. Hypothetically speaking. Anyway, unfortunately, as we all know, Carrie Fisher passed before. Well, was it 2 years ago? Last year, before the movie came out, and I think it was 2016. And no, was it 17?
2017.
Early 2017. She passed, and Mark Hamill was one of the people basically just saying like, "Hey, I don't know if I'm ever coming back to this franchise. Harrison's gone, Carrie's passed away. Like, what's left for me in this franchise?" So it left a lot of fans speculating like, "Hey, maybe Mark Hamill really is going to walk away from the Star Wars." And so the rumors started flying. Obi-Wan Kenobi would be coming back. A lot of people saying that Yoda would make an appearance instead of Mark Hamill not coming back. And then on top of that, there was the issue of Carrie Fisher is very much alive at the end of, Princess Leia is very much alive at the end of The Last Jedi, but Carrie Fisher clearly isn't, and her story isn't finished. So what are they going to do? Were they going to do CGI and bring in another actor and just make her look like Carrie Fisher? Were they going to use on footage? Were they going to kill her off screen? How was this all going to happen? These were all answers that we just figured we were never going to get answers to, at least not until the first trailer or much later in the process.
All the time you're going to say anything in the first trailer.
Yeah, well, you would probably see something, or you'd start. We were going to have to wait for rumors and speculation and maybe one hidden set photo of Mark Hamill. I saw some things popped up about he shaved his beard, and people were like, "What does it mean?" And I'm just like, oh my god, people, let it go. But Disney and Kathleen Kennedy, to their credits, decided right off the bat, said, "You know what? We are going to give you. Here is the full cast list of Star Wars. Here you go." And on that cast list, we saw obviously all the returning, surviving people from The Last Jedi. In addition to some of the big names, and there was some new names. We're not going to go over all of them right here, but the big ones were Mark Hamill is going to be returning as Luke Skywalker. So obviously they didn't say Force Ghost or not Force Ghost. Most of us are assuming he's going to be returning as a Force Ghost, or maybe even in some flashback scenes we could see him alive. There's a lot of rumors that episode 9 is going to be heavy in flashbacks, which wouldn't surprise me. There's a lot of story that needs to get filled in to kind of wrap this whole thing up. But
they're wrapping up the Skywalker saga. I think this is going to be it.
Well, you think right. Lucasfilm has officially said that episode 9 will be the end of the Skywalker saga. So if we get an episode 10, 11, and 12, it won't be about the Skywalkers.
Yeah. Hey, they had a good run. I mean, Anakin did okay. Luke you know,
Well,
became a
and, you know,
weird hermit.
to be honest with you, I have mixed emotions about this. So part of me is like, you know what? Good. Good. The
They only made it two
Skywalkers,
generations.
three generations of Skywalkers,
Yeah,
all
oh yeah,
fucking the whole galaxy up. I mean, let's be honest. I feel like the galaxy's probably better without the Skywalkers. I
yeah.
mean,
It-
Anakin was kind of a dick, even when before he turned to the dark side, and then he became Darth Vader. I'm sure there's a lot of people who wish Darth Vader had never been around.
and murdered a lot of babies and kids.
And then Luke, Luke kind of did some stuff, and then he tried to kill Kylo, and now Kylo's murdered lots of people.
Yeah.
And, you know, Han Solo probably would have lived longer had he not met, you know, the Skywalkers. And, you know, listen, I love the Skywalkers. Luke's my guy. I'm excited he's coming back. And I kind of joke about this a little bit because I do love the Skywalkers. It's going to be weird to move on to a whole new trilogy of movies without the Skywalkers. That being said, you can have some great stories. I mean, you can come up with look at Rey. Rey is not a Skywalker, and she is fucking awesome. She could have her own trilogy of movies by herself without any of the Star Wars characters from the past, and it would still be great. So, you know, whatever. But yeah, it's a little bittersweet. But I would say that I bet you if you polled most people in the galaxy, they would say, we kind of wish the Skywalkers had never been around.
Yeah, if the Skywalkers hadn't come in and fucked everything up, there still might be a Senate, a Jedi Order.
Yeah, well, and to be fair, well, then again, Palpatine could have just ran roughshod. Who knows what could have happened? But, I mean, here's the thing. The Skywalkers, I understand why Disney wants to wrap this up. We love this. We love Luke. We love Vader. I love Kylo. I know a lot of people don't like
that
Kylo.
are just clinging to that nostalgia.
Yeah, I love Leia. I love Han. But, you know, if it wasn't so obvious in the last movie, we have to, like, move on from the past. You have to kill it if you must. We don't recommend killing anything. But, you know, move on from the past. And you have to... The only way Disney is ever going to get Star Wars to the MCU level like they really want it to be, and what most of us fans would like to see... You have to move on. You have to... And you know what? As much as people are crying about this is going to happen to Marvel. We are going to be moving on from Captain America, Iron Man, Thor. It's going to happen. And it's going to happen in the next 3 or 4 years. So, every now and then you have to... You know, you have your cycle. You have your birth, growth, death, and then rebirth, right? And this is the end of an era. And I kind of like that Disney isn't messing around with this. It definitely seems like they've kind of learned some things from the past. And that they're definitely... They're being much more decisive in the future selections. Like, they didn't toy around and say, well, maybe this is... No, they said, listen, this is the end of the Skywalkers. Here it is. Enjoy it. It's coming. It's coming soon. But like I said, Mark Hamill's coming back, which is obviously awesome. Another... Billy D. Williams is officially... I mean, he was confirmed a while ago, but it's always great to see him on the cast list. He's coming back as Lando Calrissian. And the other really big one was Carrie Fisher will be coming back as Princess Leia. J.J. Abrams, as soon as that hit, people immediately were like, whoa, wait a minute, what's going on here? J.J. Abrams,
Did you bring it back?
Obviously,
she's faking it the whole time?
Yeah, I don't think that happened. But, I mean, that would be a Carrie Fisher thing to do. But you know, J.J. immediately came out and said, listen, we have a lot of unused footage from Episode 7. My guess is they might use some from Episode 8. But apparently they have enough footage that they shot that they can use to create her scenes that they need her to be in. So I do not expect her to be a main character in this movie. My guess is these scenes are going to be used to kind of flesh out an ending for her. But so I think that's why we're getting Billy D back. Yeah, it's going to be sad. It's going to be sad. I mean, we saw her on screen after her death. It was sad. You know, it's going to be sad. The whole thing is just... I remember watching Rogue One. And, you know, most of us heard the news around when that came out. And I remember watching Rogue One and seeing, I had just heard about her death. I went into the movie, and then at the very end, they have the recreated Carrie Fisher as a young Princess Leia. And it's just like, it's just like, oh, my princess.
This is my favorite.
Yeah, so I mean, it sucks, but hey, you know what? At least she's gonna get a finale. I'm glad they're not writing her off, you know, her death off screen. But that's probably why we're bringing back Billy D. Williams. We'll get Lando. He'll probably be the legacy character that's in this movie more. Obviously, Luke Skywalker is going to be in this.
Character.
I mean, he could technically, I guess, come back. His metal hand disappeared, so maybe the Force just took him somewhere else and they're going to bring him back.
Yeah.
Who knows? But we are going to get Mark Hamill in this, probably more than they originally anticipated because of Carrie Fisher's passing. We're going to get the wrap up to her story. Yoda, Obi-Wan have both been rumored, nothing in the cast list, but we do not expect to see, cameo appearances in the cast list. But that's the news, man. And I'm really excited about that.
I'm looking forward to it.
Hmm?
I'm looking forward to it.
Let's see. I'm trying to find the name here. So another surprise cast member we got, a new addition to the cast, is Richard E. Grant. And a lot of people started speculating, like, if you turn this guy blue, he looks a lot like Grand Admiral Thrawn. And so the speculation started going rampant that Grand Admiral Thrawn is going to be one of the big bads in Episode 9.
Now, he's originally from the expanded universe, right?
Okay, so if you've only ever watched the episodic movies or even like Solo and those, you're not going to know who Thrawn is. And the reason why this is a big deal is, yes, to your point, Thrawn was originally created in the old canon books, but which is now the Star Wars Legend books. He was a specially trained alien commander. The Emperor Palpatine trained him himself. He was in the regions. Well, in the original Star Wars, so Grand Admiral Thrawn was basically in charge of the Legends version of the First Order, right? So they were the reborn empire in the books, and in the movies the First Order, and in the books he came. So imagine General Hux, but Grand Admiral Thrawn. Now he wasn't goofy like Hux, but that was kind of the position he was in the books.
Yeah.
He was a plot. He faced off against Luke Skywalker and all these people after the Emperor died. Now Star Wars, because they made all those books legends and they were no longer part of the canon. Rightfully, this is one of the best expanded universe characters that they'd had. So they found a way to bring him back, and they brought him back in Star Wars Rebels, which I've talked about length on this show because it's a great series. They found a way to bring him back, and they really made him relevant. It was really cool. Basically, the exact same character. Small differences as far to his backstories because he was obviously he's definitely they brought him back earlier than they did in the expanded universe. So they brought him back during the rebellion instead of after the death of the Emperor. But at the end of that series, a little bit of spoiler here if you haven't watched Rebels, him and Ezra are shot off into space, who knows where, and during that time they brought the original writer who created this character back to write new stories for Thrawn. So he rewrote Thrawn's backstory, and they have the new Thrawn, the sequel to that book coming out here soon. And he's been a really big character. They've spent a lot of time really investing in. And so a lot of people believe it's because they're going to bring him into the universe. And if they do, he is a fantastic character. He's a super smart admiral. Yeah. He's very calm and collected. He's very Thrawn. Or, not Thrawn, sorry. He's very, God, I can't remember his name. Tarkin. He's very Tarkin-esque, but he's a lot more calm. He's not nearly as mustache-twirling evil as he is just like, I'm going to get the job done, and I work for the Empire, right? And that's kind of his. He's less of a villain and more of just a very smart commander who happens to work for the Empire.
His stuff. And he knows his stuff. He's not like, No. Yeah, he uses people's artwork. Like, that's his big thing, is he looks at a culture's art because he believes in their art. He can tell everything he needs to know about them and how they're going to be in their strategy and stuff. So he's a great character, and I really do hope they bring him in. A lot of people think that because of the backlash of The Last Jedi, Disney is going to work overtime to try and kind of cater to fans a little bit and try and bring them the things that they want. You don't need to cater to anybody, Disney.
Yeah. Disney, everything you've done so far is great, and Solo is awesome. If you haven't seen Solo, go watch it. All right. I think that's all Star Wars. Do we have any other Star Wars news? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Star Wars Rebels, Season 4 is out on Blu-ray now. Check it out. But I mean, I don't know, I guess we spent 20 minutes talking about Star Wars. Yeah, big news, man. Really excited. We got a long ways to wait for this. J.J. Abrams sent out a thing. If you think he's going to be retconning everything that happened in The Last Jedi, don't count on it. He sent out a tweet today thanking Rian Johnson for the wonderful story that he set up for him in the finale, and George Lucas for the universe. So if you think J.J. Abrams is going to be like, all the stuff that George did that I don't like, I'm getting rid of, and all the stuff that Rian Johnson did, I'm getting rid of that too. Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. But I'm excited, which is good. I think Disney had an idea. I don't think everything's worked, but I think most of it has, and I'm really excited for this. Episode 9 is immediately already... I mean, it was already my most anticipated movie of next year, but it's right back up there.
Yeah, I'm just trying this time to not just watch every single trailer and read every single article.
Yeah, I mean, obviously for the show we have to talk about some stuff, but when we read it, but we'll try and not ever do too many spoilers and just bring you guys the fun stuff that you might need to know. All right, moving on. So we spent a lot more time. We ran a lot longer on the rant than I anticipated. So how about I just blow through all the news and we get to our last topic?
I say that's a good plan because I'm starting to feel my eyes just...
I can see you over there yawning. God almighty. Yeah, all this wonderful Star Wars news and all you can do is be like, nappy time. All right, whatever.
Oh, Star Wars.
All right, get ready. Here we go. You ready? On 3, 2, 1. Warner Brothers has dropped the first trailer for Constantine, City of Demons, based off the CW Siege show of Constantine. It's a great trailer. I love Constantine. I'm going to watch it. We're going to get probably a copy of the movie, and we're definitely be reviewing it. Yeah. So check that out. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Emily Blunt have released a little video telling everybody that we're started recording Jungle Cruise. I don't know. Does anybody care? Not? Like, I'm going to watch it because, like, Emily Blunt is my hardcore movie crush.
Yeah.
And The Rock is cool even when he does bad movies, but, whatever. Nobody knows what it's about. It's about jungle and cruising.
It's Tooth Fairy is still very high up on my list.
Yeah, so they're finally starting to release some official photos for the new Terminator 6 movie. Directed by the guy who did Deadpool, produced by James Cameron, and starring Linda Hamilton, who looks absolutely badass. Can I just say that?
Yeah, she looks like Linda Hamilton.
Oh my god, she looks like she stepped out of Terminator 2, aged about 20 years, and like it's still ready to kick you in the nads and blow your face off with a machine gun.
I didn't check. Was she wearing the old circle sunglasses?
No, she's got she's got hardcore aviators, which I approve of.
Oh, okay. She needs to get I love those.
Yeah, those were cool too, but those are very 90s. I'm excited for this new one. Yeah, also true. Too, if you got iTunes, they had a sale. Terminator 2 was $4.99 for 4K. I bought it. Warner Brothers is developing a Super Pets film. I'm guessing it's animated. If you don't know what that is, it's basically like Crypto. All the superheroes at some point had pets, and so apparently this movie's about their pets.
Didn't they kind of do that in that Flash movie?
I don't know. This better be like animated. That's all I'm saying. No word on that. When we know more, we'll let you guys know. Right now, I think Warner Brothers is trying to option everything they possibly can for their DC world of DC universe. Speaking of giant universes, Game of Thrones apparently they optioned that prequel. Everyone's excited about. They're doing the pilot for it. We had reported that it was going to be 1,000 years in the past. Well, apparently the HBO guy who runs HBO came out and said, no. This is taking place.
Spinoff.
Yeah,
so you're
the Game of Thrones
talking about the George R. Martin one. One's about the Starks.
This is the George R. Martin one. Yes, this is taking place 8,000 years before Game of Thrones.
Wait, so this is the George R. R. Martin one?
This is the there's I forget her name, but there's a lady showrunner and George R. R. Martin are co-writing this together. This is the one that he's attached to. Okay. And this is originally we thought it was 1,000 years, which would line up with Bran the Builder and the Wall and stuff.
Yeah.
But apparently it's actually 8,000 years in the past before there are any kingdoms, and it's going to focus on the Starks completely. So
they've been able to maintain for 8,000 years that family line.
Listen, you've seen Game of Thrones. You know what happens in that show. Don't ask how, just say okay and move on.
Yes. Okay.
I probably buried the lead, but did we mention? But I'm just tired of talking about it. But we're going to mention it now. Fox has accepted Disney's offer of $71.2 billion, and
shareholders in Disney and the shareholders at Fox came together, had a giant, massive orgy.
They came together like this and they
Oh
said,
yeah,
"Hey Fox."
it was just like people just naked everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, just like you seen that movie. What's that? Indecent Proposal, where they have sex on a bed of money. That's pretty much what they all did.
Yeah,
And they hammered out a deal where now the X-Men and Fantastic Four and all the other properties of Fox are now officially coming to Disney. Should happen sometime. Should be complete sometime in 2019. But this means, yes, Wolverine could possibly flip off Tony Stark in a future Avengers movie if they don't kill Tony Stark in the next Avengers movie.
will it be Hugh Jackman or will it be somebody else?
That shit is getting 100% rebooted. There's going to be all new X-Men on. They're going to cast a new Wolverine. Why bring in like an 80-year-old Wolverine when you want to bring in like a 25-year-old Wolverine so you can have him for 15 movies?
Who costs 1/10 of what Hugh Jackman costs?
Yeah, I know. We talked about before the show started that we were going to. Okay, so let's do this quickly, real quickly.
Okay.
What?
I'm just going to say one character.
Okay, I want two things. What character do you want brought in first, and what characters do you think will be brought in first?
Okay.
Go.
Okay, I want Deadpool brought in first. And
Fair enough.
just to be like, could you imagine Deadpool like that he didn't get killed by Thanos?
Yeah.
And he's like walking. He comes in on the Avengers 4, and he's like, "Hey, that kind of looks like Cable or something." You know, just
you look like a big giant purple cable. Yeah, that'd be great. All right, so what character do you think will be brought in first?
I think it's going to be Wolverine.
Okay.
It's the most iconic X-Men's character.
I think the Fantastic Four will be brought in first.
Mm-hmm.
And who do I want? I mean, it's hard because I would like to say obviously the X-Men, but if you say the X-Men, I mean, obviously if you say the X-Men, it's literally all of them. It's kind of a cheat. So, you know who I'd really like to see brought in, and I would like to see him brought in Avengers 4, and I'd like him to be set up as the next big bad villain for the next 10 years. Dr. fucking Doom. I want Dr. Doom. I want him now, and I want him to be the main villain for a while because he's a great character.
They're gonna have to tie in like, oh, there's been this evil dictator in this country. Easy would it bring?
Okay, so yes, I want Dr. Doom. I do think that there's, like last week we talked, apparently a lot of that Fox rumors were just rumors that they're, I mean, we said it would take it with a grain of salt, but it sounds like the X-Men are going to get released at some point, Dark Phoenix. But the rumor was that Silver Surfer and Galactus could be brought in first. I still see that could possibly happening, but I definitely think it's going to be the Cosmos side. I think it's going to be the Fantastic Four, Doctor Doom, Galactus, Silver Surfer. You could bring all those in together. And if you brought Fantastic Four and you could bring Doctor Doom in, I don't think they're going to miss the opportunity to bring in Doctor Doom. But another cool thing that we get now is we're going to get the Illuminati, which is Professor X. It's like the group of the most powerful mutants who decide powerful superheroes that decide like the fate of everything. And you can now get that in these movies. Like, I am very excited for Marvel. If I'm Kevin Feige right now, I'm just like,
yeah, but he's still got to wait until 2019 when everything's done.
Well, it's been approved. I would not be surprised if they work out some kind of a deal with Fox early to slip in somebody into Avengers 4. I don't think Wolverine or a main character, but I could definitely see like a post-credit scene where you get like a Doom or a Galactus or a Silver Surfer.
They're going to have to be like, this is the first mutant ever born.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. There's a lot that's going to happen between now and then. You got to come up with some creative storytelling, but I'm very excited for that. All right, moving on, a little bit more Marvel news. Kind of moving to Netflix. Apparently, Netflix's boss has teased that a new Marvel series is in the work. Has not announced what it is, but a lot of people are thinking that it's going to be either one of two things. It could be Moon Knight, or it could actually be like Defenders, Defenders for Hire, or Heroes for Hire. Sorry. There's been no word on the Defenders Season 2. They also have not announced a Luke Cage Season 3, so a lot of people think that maybe they're going to start tying some of these together and make more of a, some new shows out of the existing characters and continuing to give each character their own series. But hopefully Moon Knight. That's what I'm hoping for. Let's see. What else? Continue on Netflix here. Sabrina the Teenage Witch officially has announced a release date. We're going to get it October 23rd. we're just in time for Halloween, which makes sense. This show sounds like it might be actually pretty cool.
My daughter will watch it.
A show that we do know is pretty cool that's also coming out October 26th is Season 2 of Castlevania will drop right before Halloween. Yes. And they released a trailer that is bloody fucking fantastic. And I say bloody because there's guts and blood everywhere in this trailer.
I gotta rewatch it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna rewatch it right before season. I'm just gonna watch season 1 and season 2.
Well, there's only 6 episodes, so just, definitely watch it before it comes out. Let's see here. A little more on the downside of Netflix news. Stranger Things has been pushed back to summer of 2019. But
doesn't sound like a good time to release it.
Ugh, God, I'm so mad. We have to wait another fucking year.
But they're going to the mall, Brian.
I don't care. I'm mad. I gotta wait another whole year for more Stranger Things. First, we don't even get Game of Thrones until April. It's gonna be a good year for TV next year. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So apparently, last little Netflix news we got. Apparently, Netflix has bought the rights for what the hell's his name? Jungle Book, Mowgli, for the Mowgli movie, which looked really good. I saw they just released a trailer, Warner Brothers, and it looked really good. But apparently, they're a little worried that it's going to pick up steam, so they sold it to Netflix. Netflix is now going to air it for free on their platform.
Not too bad.
So guess what? You get to watch a major motion picture at home.
You're going to be watching everything.
What else we got? Jason Momoa says that he saw the Zack Snyder cut and it's better. No shit. That will never happen, unfortunately. We're all mad. Mission Impossible Fallout made a record best $61.5 million over the weekend, or franchise best. It opened to like $160 million worldwide, which I know doesn't sound like a lot in like Marvel terms, but that's a huge deal for Mission Impossible. And it plays really well overseas. So this movie's gonna make probably $700-800 million.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a good summer movie from what I hear.
It is a fantastic summer movie. We're gonna talk more about that in the after show here. Let's see. Do I have anything else? Let me look. I'm looking through my shit. Oh yeah, we had the what?
The Guardians of the Galaxy cast sent out that letter.
Yeah, the James Gunn thing keeps happening. James Gunn, Disney apparently may be talking talks to rehire him, and then they may not be. I don't know. All I know is the entire Guardians of the Galaxy cast has sent their support to James Gunn, saying Disney was wrong for firing him. They should bring him back. You know, if you'd like to hear about our thoughts on it, we talked about it last week in depth. But basically, we think Disney fucked up and they should bring back James Gunn. But we do not control his fate. Let's see. Last little bit of news we got. Venom dropped a new trailer that was about 3 minutes long. Showed a lot more Venom, a lot more violent trailer. And I don't know. Do you want to talk about this for a minute, or do you just want to like?
Not really. That's all I need to know.
Okay, I want to say this real quick.
Until we see the movie.
Here's what I have this. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I have this real sneaky. This movie feels like a movie that's not going to be good, but everybody really wants it to be good. So I see this footage and everyone's like, "It's great," and I'm like, I don't know if it's really great or you just are really wanting it to be great.
Yeah, I'm maintaining an extremely low bar of expectations, and I refuse to raise it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still kind of... This movie looks very Spawn-ish to me, and I don't know. I hope it's good. I love Tom Hardy, and I like Venom, so, I mean, we'll see, but whatever. Our last story of the day is apparently MoviePass, and we're going to spend a couple minutes talking about this, but apparently MoviePass is raising its subscription prices to $14.99 a month, and it is slashing what movies you can go see. In fact, a lot of people, even on our post, when I posted this, were posting pictures of how they'd been denied movie tickets when they went and bought tickets. So I think the writing's on the wall in this. Their stock continues to drop. Their prices continue to fluctuate all over the place. They keep changing what movies you can and can't watch. I think MoviePass's days are just about done.
Well, they had a good idea. But what they didn't anticipate was that people were going to see as many movies as they could for a very low amount of money. And
they never really got the theaters on board with it.
I mean, it's just it was too good for the money, and now they're being destroyed for that. So
well, and I will say this: if you want, AMC just launched. I think ultimately MoviePass is going to fail, but I think I think it's going to be looked back on that it changed the way people think about going to movies. And I think ultimately, unfortunately, it's not nearly as successful.
It's going to become a subscription model.
Well, and here's the thing. I don't think this is ever going to be looked upon. This was never as successful as MySpace. But I think this can end up being the MySpace of how movies pay going forward, right? Like, I think the next big service that happens could be the Facebook version of this, where people say, oh, wait a minute. They had a good idea, even though that one failed. Let's build on that, right? Because, I mean, like, AMC is already released for $20 a month. They released a service that's already better than what MoviePass offers. You can go see AMC. We're not paid by AMC. This is just, I genuinely think it's a good deal. You can go see 3 movies a week. There's no blackouts on IMAX, first-run movies, times, dates, anything. Any 3 movies you want, 3 movies a week, so 12 movies a month, 15 movies on months that have 5 weeks, and unlimited. You can go to Thursday night premieres if you want to. You can go to special screeners if you want to. You can do anything. And on top of that, you get the normal rewards that you get. So you get like you build up movie points. You get percentages off when you buy concessions. There's a lot of perks. Now the downside is obviously you got to go to an AMC theater. If your closest theaters are Regal or whatever else is out there, Cinemark that you love, you obviously can't use it. But that being said, if you got an AMC near you, it's a great deal, and I think that's the model that people are going to be going to.
I can see that very much.
I think MoviePass had a good idea, but the problem is trying to get these chains to work together to build one service is going to be real difficult, right? So your best bet is to find a theater you really like, sign up for one of these $20 a month subscriptions, and if you really love to go see movies, and I've already talked to a few people who've already canceled their MoviePass and signed up for the AMC one because... honestly, if I didn't have kids, I'd probably sign up for the AMC one because I used to go to movies all the time, and I just don't anymore. I mean, obviously I see more movies than Ryan, but as a dad, I usually maybe check out 1 or 2 a month, and unfortunately, when they come out with a family pass, that is when I might sign up.
I think that's going to be I was going to mention that the next big step would be if they start doing a family pass, like up to 4.
Yeah, if you give me 3 movies a week or 1,
so like $40 a month.
Well, here's the thing: if you give me instead of 3 movies a week, you give me 1 movie a week for 4 people.
Yeah.
See, then I'm thinking like, hey, that especially if it's only $20 a month, I'll sign up for that immediately, right?
That's every Friday night.
Well, and see, you gotta understand, a lot of these theaters make their money off concessions. They really don't make that much money off ticket sales. Most of the ticket sales go to, the distribution, the Warner Brothers, all the people, whoever makes the movie. They don't make a lot off that. That's why your concessions are always so expensive. That's how they make their money. And so if they just get people in the door, that's why this subscription service is gonna work. But that led us to a question. So we're kind of gonna move into. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and move into our From the Faithful 50, but we're going to lead with a question about this MoviePass thing, because we had a really good question from one of our listeners earlier this week, and we did not want to not discuss it, but it fits perfectly into our From Our Faithful 50. So we're moving on to our Q&A section. That's all the news for the week. Now we have questions from the Faithful 50. What is that, you may ask? If you're new to the show, every week Ryan puts up a wonderful post. This week I believe he did a King of the Hill post celebrating my birthday, and ask people for questions. And all you got to do is hop on one of our social media outlets and say, I have a question for you guys. Why is Brian so dead sexy? And we'll answer it live on this show. And anyway, so that's all you got to do. So our first question... I'm pretty
sure that question's already been asked. So
it's asked weekly, but usually we just skip over it. So our first question pertaining to our last news topic was from David. He wants to know, when do we think the cable providers will start to dismantle the movie theater scene in general? Like buy the rights to show the movies when they come out in a theater, charge a substantial rental fee, but at a $30 or $40 is still probably a good deal for them. Any thoughts? He just had an idea and wanted to know what we thought about it. So obviously we talked just a little bit about it. I don't know. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go ahead and...
You can go first.
Okay, so here's my thoughts. So right now, cable providers, I do not think are really thinking about movie theaters. I think this is still 2 very separate entities. Right now, if you look at what cable providers are doing, they are looking at buying other companies. They are looking at buying IPs. This is why Disney bought Fox, not because of their movies, Well, not because of the theaters, but they bought Fox because Disney is launching a streaming service, and they've got to have content for that. So this is about cable companies right now care about content. This is why AT&T bought Warner Brothers. This has nothing to do with the theater model. This has everything to do with the streaming model and what properties you have. So if you're AT&T now, maybe if you want to be dicks, you can say, listen, if you have DirecTV.net, you're going to get all the DC movies.
Yeah, and I very much can see that's happening. And I don't know if that's going to be a good or bad thing, honestly. Like, if we can only watch DC stuff.
I think it's going to be good and bad. I think instead of paying for cable, we're all going to end up paying for $15 streaming service for each platform. That's going to end up costing the same amount as cable, honestly.
Yeah, it's just going to become that we're going to have to subscribe to like 10 different platforms just to get all the stuff that we want.
But David, to answer your question about theaters, because I think what you have here is I think you have two really different questions. One is, what is cable? I don't think cable has anything to do with theaters, honestly. So, but what do theaters? What's the model for? But I think you have a point. What is the model for theaters going forward? Clearly, they're struggling. Clearly, they need to figure it out. I think theaters are very much at the point the music industry was a few years back until Apple came out with the, hey, 99-cent songs. You don't need to buy albums. I'm going to save the music industry. So I do think the subscription service, I think there's a reason why AMC launched their own, because I think MoviePass was onto something. You know, Netflix was one of the most valuable companies in the fucking planet, partially because of their subscription service. You get money every month, regardless of whatever you go see. And I definitely see theaters subscribing to that model. How much? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if they can make it work, then I could see them having a lot more people going out and seeing movies. And especially like maybe not, you know, all the big huge summer hits. Like they might go and see, you know, the movies or take a chance on something because like, oh, I've already used up 2 of my movies and I saw, you know, the X-Men or I saw the you know, the 2 Marvel movies already this week. You know, let's just try this one. Yeah. You know, so it might actually, as a subscription model, it might actually get people to see movies that they wouldn't normally see.
Yeah, and I think if you can get more people going to the theater, you're going to get more, you know, different variety of movies in the theater. So I think it's all, you know, I think one thing affects the next, and I do think I think subscription service is the future of these theaters. I just think they have to fine tune it. Like we talked about earlier. Yeah. You're going to need a family model, maybe a couples model. I think there's ways you can make this better, but I definitely think that's where they're going to go. As far as the home thing, they've already started doing the video on demand where you can pay $20 to watch an indie movie that's in theaters right now. I don't think it's going to go away, but the problem that they have with that is if you charge $100 to watch, say, Justice League, well, Mission Impossible, that's a more relevant movie right now. Mission Impossible Fallout. There's a couple of things you can't control. One, you cannot control how many eyeballs are watching it in that room. So you could literally, if you had a big house and a projection TV or even a big yard, you could pack in 100 people, and now they're all watching Mission Impossible for $100. And then what if that person decides, well, I'm going to set up my HD 4K GoPro and I'm going to record this movie, and then I'm just going to watch it later. So I don't think you're ever going to get a thing where they release big movies for any dollar amount at home because they cannot control the flow of what happens with that movie. And you cannot control, at least in the theaters, it's a little bit harder to bootleg things. They have people who do things like that, but at home it would just, the bootlegging would be unbelievably rampant.
Yeah, you would have people just putting up the copied videos just instantly. I mean, it would be bad. That's a model that's going to require like a lot more encryption protocol and like you said, what's going to stop someone from just setting up or taking their iPhone?
Yeah, I mean, our recording technology is so good now. I mean, they probably have things you can hook up to your TV and just record it as it goes. You probably don't need your iPhone. But at least in the theater, it's a little uncomfortable if the guy next to you has got his phone out recording the movie. You'd be like, what are you doing?
Yeah, so just slap the phone.
And to be honest with you, I enjoy going to the theaters. I have kids. I like going for 2 hours where everyone shuts the fuck up and it's AC and it's dark and it's loud. And the only thing you have to do, I mean, like, I love my wife, but that girl's ADD as hell. So, like, we're watching a movie, she's always, like, on her phone. At least when in the theater, she can't watch her phone, right? So it's nice. You're just, there's no iPhones, there's no nothing. It's just you in the movie. So, I don't want it to go away. But that being said, I do think that movie theaters are on a little bit of a turn. They're going to have to change their models if they want to continue to grow. Real quick, one story I did leave out on news was apparently it just broke right before our show happened. We started recording our show that Alf is officially getting a reboot. There's not much to say about it other than it's happening, and a lot of people have a lot of thoughts, and they've all made them very clear on our Facebook post. So if you want to let us know what you think about Alf, head on over. Apparently, this is a very hot topic. I would love to know. Personally, I don't see how Alf can be good nowadays.
I would just like everyone to know that in the 4th grade, I convinced my mom to spend over $100 on an Alf costume for Halloween, and it was like the full-on, like the really good one. That
$100 back in the 80s. I had to wear it for like 3 Halloweens because my dude, $100 in like 87 is like $800 now.
Yeah. So I was out for like 3 years.
You got better parents than I did. My parents made me wear like sheets I was a ghost.
Yeah. I was a California raisin one year. Just put a garbage bag all over me and stuff newspapers inside it.
Whatever, Ryan. It's a terrible costume. All right. Anyway, moving on. What else we got? We got a bunch of questions, so let's knock them out.
Yeah. So we had another question from Jeff. Yes. And Jeff wants to know what natural disaster, either earthquake, tornado, hurricane, etc., scares you the most, and why?
Well,
do you have a natural disaster, Brian?
I live in Washington, which every 500 years or so has like a 9.5 earthquake. So, and I also live next to volcanoes that explode every 1,000 years.
Mount St. Helens is ready to blow again or something.
No, dude, I'm not worried about Mount St. Helens. Rainier. I took a geology class. Let me tell you, if you live in Washington, if you live in the Pacific Rim, do not take a geology class. You're like, oh, this will be cool. No, it's terrifying. Like, you realize you were in one of the most active geological places in the entire fucking world.
And it goes like... Woo,
yeah, and it explodes all the time. I mean, we are due for Mount Rainier. The last time, well, I'm not going to get into, like, the Washington. Let's just put it this way. If Mount Rainier explodes in Washington, you're going to have, like, 500,000 people dead. There's so many cities like right at the base of that mountain that would just be wiped out immediately. And if we had like so here to scare everybody who lives in Washington, they already predicted if we get if we get anything over a 9-point earthquake, which they said happens like once every 500 years. We're about 300 years since the last one. If we get another one, the ocean would drop, the new sea level would drop. We would have 6 feet. It would drop 6 feet immediately. So put that in context. Take 6 feet up from sea level all the way to 6 feet, and that entire land mass would drop into the ocean. It would cause a tidal wave that would wipe out everything west of I-5.
Which is a lot.
I live east of I-5, but barely. I would have oceanfront property now, and I am like 2 hours from the ocean. So yes, that shit is terrifying. And I was telling my wife, I
remember growing up in Washington, they always had the posters of like kids like underneath their desk, like prepare.
That will not save you. You will all die. Horrible deaths. And I always tell my wife, like, whenever you see like tornado hits Tornado Alley, we're always like, why do people live in Tornado Alley? And I'm like, hey, don't say that shit. She's like, why? I was like, because one day the fucking mountain's gonna explode and we're all gonna be covered in black ash. And everyone's going to be like, why would anybody live next to an active volcano? What a bunch of idiots.
Yeah, very true.
God. And because we're like, we're like a blue state, I'm pretty sure we're not going to get any fucking help from the government.
No, it's going to be like Puerto Rico. Trump will come over and just like,
well, at least Puerto Ricans get to live in the Caribbean.
Paper towels.
God, yeah, that's pretty.
But
he's going to fly over Air Force One and just throw paper towels out of the fucking door.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
But, I have to say, as someone who grew up in Washington, I will agree with you. That earthquake scared the crap out of me. Even when we had like the minor one, like in 2000.
Yeah,
That, you know,
earthquakes are
people
crazy. If you
feel
never
it.
lived through an earthquake, what was it? I think it was like a
felt
5
it
point. That was like a 5.2 or something. If you never lived through an earthquake, man, that was a little one, and it was pretty because like in California they shake, up here they roll. So like you're standing up and you're like, whoa, the whole ground's just rolling.
Well, I just remember I was in Ellensburg. I was a freshman in college, and I was like walking, and all of a sudden, like everything it just felt really weird. And I was like,
you were far away from it. I was really
weirdest
close,
thing
man.
ever, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, it was an earthquake!"
I was working in a lumber warehouse, and there's all these tall stacks of lumber, and they're swaying like this.
Yeah.
And I'm standing in this doorway, and there's this girl just screaming, and I grab her and I pull her into the doorway, and we're just like, ah! And everything's just moving like this. Dude, it is so crazy. Like, earthquakes are no joke.
Yeah.
No
So,
fucking
Jeff,
way.
I think Brad and I agree. It's the earthquake.
Yeah, Jeff, you live near me. So.
Brian's not going to be able to sleep tonight. So, think about earthquakes.
My birthday's in like a couple hours. Ryan, it's my birthday where you're at. That's so weird. Where I'm at, it's not my birthday. Where you're at, it's my birthday. It was my birthday 27 minutes ago. You're real late on that shit.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a horrible friend. I apologize.
Fucking dick, and you're fired.
Yes. Well, just remember.
You know what? For my birthday present,
you're getting a whisper in your ear.
How about you keep your whisper and just be a better goddamn co-host? That's what I want for my birthday, for my 22nd birthday.
All right. Why don't you close out the questions then, jackass?
Right. Well, I can. I can do it all. I'm the best at everything.
Mm.
All right.
I like how Chris.
Listen, I got a little fat and cocky right there. I apologize. That was rude. Please continue.
I just want to say thanks to Evil Chris he only responds to Brian shares on the thing, even though I was technically his friend first.
He told me it's because of my sweet shirts, which I got a new one. Look at this one, everybody. See, it says, I got your back. Boom. Star Wars.
Yeah. So, Evil Chris, stop being a dick.
Don't listen to me, Evil Chris. You're the best. Shut up, Ryan. What's the question?
I don't know. You have the stuff on you.
Stop being a dick and read the questions.
I actually didn't have it up yet. Because I have to find Brian West.
Oh, my God.
And I don't keep you, like, at the very top of my feed.
Oh, my God. You should.
Oh, man. You're not even close on
this
my
makes for, like, bad show stuff.
Well, usually you have your thing,
Speaking of bad show stuff, did you ever post our Mission Impossible thing on iTunes? I'm pretty sure you didn't.
I thought I did.
You did not. You're fired.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, 15 comments. Jesus Christ. All right. Here we go. First up, not Chris, but Kyle. Was that the only question on our post?
Yeah, that was the only one from the other one.
Jesus, I got a lot. All right, here we go. First up, Kyle. Thanks for giving a question. Kyle, he wants to know, hey, you should talk about how one of your geek dads doesn't have enough time to be a football geek anymore because of all the geeking. But what's more geek than playing fantasy football? Oh, wait, stupid question. Are you still doing your weekly football picks?
Has Kyle been drinking?
This must be Kyle from my fantasy football league. He's a little mad because I decided to take a year off from playing fantasy football. Last year I got a little angry and yelled at my family because the defensive tackle on a team I didn't care about, in a game I didn't care about, made a tackle with 1 minute left to go in a blowout, and I lost my fantasy league. I decided at that moment that it was time for me to step back and not play fantasy football this year.
Yeah, I tempted to do that, but I got roped into a family league again. So
yeah, I have no other leagues I'm doing. I usually just had my league that I did every year, and honestly, I'm sure I'll play it again. I just felt like it was a good time to take a year off. Plus, you know what? To Kyle's point, we do the show. We've been doing a lot more on the show, and we started doing our NFL show. Fantasy football, if you want to be good at it, takes up a lot of time. I'm a very competitive person, and I constantly like to manage my shit. So I decided that I could be a better Geek Dad host and family person if I took a year off. So, but yeah, to your point, Kyle, no, we're not going to stop doing our NFL show. Pretty soon, actually, in about a month, we're going to we'll do our first, little over a month, we'll do our first,
episode 1.
Yeah, episode 1 of NFL season 2018 of our NFL picks. So, we'll try and bring something new. We've learned a lot since last season. We're going to try and bring a little more humor into our NFL
Well,
picks.
and we also learned that if we put our kids on the show, we get a crap load more views. So
That's very
if
true.
our kids
And
are
we also
coming on
learned that
the show,
Ryan's stupid Blazers jacket is dumb.
no.
Anyway, thanks for the question, Chris or Kyle. I appreciate that. And yes, like I said, we're bringing back our weekly picks. We'll talk about that next month. All right, next up, Chris.
David wants the movie theater one. We did talk about
already
it,
did
David.
that one.
So if you didn't hear it, rewind.
Side note on our NFL stuff, if you guys have anything you'd like to hear us talk about, we talked to a lot of people. We've not got a lot of feedback about our NFL show. If there's something you guys would like to hear us talk about or do that we didn't do last year, we're definitely open to that because now is the time to start planning for that show. All right,
Yes.
Thank you. Chris wants to know, why do companies hire inefficient help? If an interviewer can tell someone is unqualified to do the job in hand, why do they hire certain individuals? I'm pretty sure this has to do with the fact that at our work, where I work with Chris, we've had a whole bunch of people quit recently, and we are massively understaffed. I would say because managers don't do our job, so they don't know how to hire people who know how to do our job.
As someone who works at the place where I work, I have no comments on this.
I don't know. It's because, Chris, people like me and you are literally the best at everything we do, and it's really hard to find people who are as good at us at anything.
Yeah. When the bar is set so high,
I mean, it's true.
Everyone is just.
I mean, you could take the conservative view and just be like, millennials are all worthless, lazy losers, and we can't hire any of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. Honestly, I just think that like what I said. I think managers don't do our job, and they have a hard time understanding how to do our job. So they hire what they want, not what they need.
Very true.
All right, moving on. Let's see, David. We already talked about your movie question. Chris wants to know if we can do a crap-tastic about Buckaroo Banzai. Yes.
Yes, we will. We already Brian put it into our notes.
Put it into our notes.
Yeah.
And that brings us to another thing. If any of you guys have a movie that you'd like to hear us review or see us, hear us, listen to us review, just let us know. We're always open for suggestions.
Yeah.
And then Chris gave us 3 quick questions. What was our take on Teen Titans Go to the Movies? Neither one of us saw it.
I'm going this weekend.
Well, I'm not, so Ryan may have a... Brian spoils the movie segment.
Spoils the movie?
My take on it is I think it's a great idea. I'm really excited, and I've heard it's really good. So
The trailer just looks funny.
yeah, it looks good, but we haven't seen it. Sorry. Are the new DCU movies? So Chris, the official term is Worlds of DC. Are the new Worlds of DC movies going to be the fulcrum in which the movies pivot into successful box office numbers and will make the fans finally happen? Well, one, the fans will never be happy because they're fans, and that's just their nature. And 2,
and I think the DC fans are a little less stabby than the Marvel fans. So
yeah, but the Marvel fans didn't talk shit like they're DC fans, and then they tank.
yeah, but the DC fans are paying for this service.
Yes, but the Marvel fans whine, and then they get Zack Snyder fired, and then we're all mad. But yes, I think to your point, these new movies look pretty good. So I think DC. I think the backlash against DC left with Zack Snyder, and good or bad, and which is weird that Justice League is more hated than BVS, and it's a way worse movie. Infinitely worse movie. BVS is actually a good movie. Justice League is not a good movie. But whatever. Let's see. So yes, I think DC. I think the Worlds of DC will finally get off the ground, and Warner Brothers will throw as much money as humanly possible at it to make it happen. So that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And then finally, he wants to know if he's Thanos and snaps his fingers, what happens? Me and you live. I live, you die. You live, I die. We both die, or magically 2 Brians appear. Which I think is kind of strange that he didn't say 2 Ryans appear.
Well, he is Thanos, so I guess he's a dick like that.
I don't know. What do you think? I'm going to say Chris kills us both.
I think Chris dies. We both inherit Infinity Gauntlets and press them together, and magic happens.
I like that. I want to see a world where whoever holds the Infinity Gauntlet snaps their fingers and they die. That's a great. There you go. I'm going to stick with
He like
Ryan's
snaps
answer.
his fingers, like, and then he just turns.
As the first on this show, I have nothing to say.
Yeah.
Ryan's answer is officially my answer as well. Way to go, Ryan. That was a good one. I'm so proud of you.
I do what I can, Brian.
All right. David, then finally David wants to know top 3 movies we saw that we enjoyed a lot more than we thought we would. He mentions Ready Player One and Greatest Showman for him. Let's just stay. I started thinking about this question. Let's not do like all time. There's just too many movies. Let's stick to this year. What are 3 movies you saw this year that you didn't think were going to be great that were much better than you thought?
I'll say Rampage.
Was better than you thought?
It was better than I thought it was going to be.
All right, fair enough.
Ready Player One was better than I thought it was going to be. I'm going to say The Death of Superman was better than I thought. I thought it was just going to be like a substandard kind of animated movie, but it turned out to be really good, and we're going to be reviewing that tonight.
Coming up next. So my 3 movies, I'm going to say number 1 was Solo. I did not have high expectations for Solo given all the production issues, and it ended up being one of my favorite Star Wars movies. What else? I'm going to say Ready Player One for me. I didn't see it in the theaters, unfortunately, so everyone had told me how great it was, so I had high expectations going into it. So I can't really put that one on the list. Oh, God. Ant-Man and the Wasp was worse than I thought it was going to be, which was very disappointing. I'm going to say Avengers Infinity War somehow managed to be better than I actually thought it was going to be. I honestly thought it had the chance of being a little bit of a disaster, and it not only wasn't a disaster, it exceeded my expectations. Yes, there's some giant fucking plot holes in this movie, but all great movies have plot holes in them. Just deal with it. And then lastly, God, what else came out this year? I'm trying to remember what came out this year. What did I see?
Everything.
Yeah, I see everything. Well, it was Jumanji. Jumanji came out last year. I'm going to say Jumanji. I know it's a little bit cheat. I think it came out last December. Right. Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle was a movie that I thought could be really bad, considering most sequels to movies that happened 20 years ago don't end up being good. But it was not only was it good, it was really, really good, and I enjoyed it a lot.
It was a lot of fun.
Or you know what? In the fucking whatever, Ryan throws out Death of Superman. I'm gonna say Mission Impossible Fallout was even better than I thought it was gonna be. Which, funny enough, we're gonna be reviewing here on the show in a few minutes.
Ooh,
woo! All right, there you go. Thank you, Dave, for your question. Because we ran long tonight, even with me blowing through the news. Our weekly recommendations, we're going to take a little cheat this week, and we're going to both give the same recommendation. Death of Superman, Ryan's hinted at it. We're going to be reviewing it in full. Is a great DC animated movie. We highly recommend you watch our review, but in case you don't, we recommend you just go out and buy this movie. It's a good movie. Another hit animated movie. Warner Brothers seems to just be knocking them out of the park with those.
Yeah.
There you go.
And I also want to say one more recommendation. Echo Sigma bags. They make like those bug out bags and stuff.
No, don't talk. We're going to talk about that next week.
We're talking about it next week.
We have one joint recommendation. Ryan is drunk and doesn't know what he's talking about. We say pick up Death of Superman. Comes out August 7th. And also, I would say go wish Brian West a happy birthday. I mean, he's a really good guy. Pretty handsome, great podcaster, genius mathematician, sexy man, great
excellent father,
player of toys, excellent father, probably the best husband in the universe.
No.
He likes fine scotches, smokes good cigars.
I haven't heard any complaints whatsoever.
Great world traveler, beautiful blue eyes, handsome, tall.
If you would like to find us, we're on Facebook at the Geek Dad Report, YouTube at the Geek Dad Report, and Twitter at the Geek Dad Report. Brian is Brian West 53, and I am Big Bruiser. We are also on podhell.com, and you can also listen to us audio only on iTunes. So please leave a comment and give us a good
5-star review.
5-star review, and tell your friends. And if you see something that you like, share it and show people.
Yes.
That's all we ask. 5 people. Find 5 people that you like.
I was
And
wondering how long you were going to let me ramble about that. You let me go way longer than I expected you to.
I hit my...
But to Ryan's point, everybody, all we ever ask from you guys is that you help us grow the show just by sharing with your friends. And do not be ashamed that you listen to our show. We have lots of people who do help us grow and get bigger. And we're going to give away cool shit. We're actually partnering up with a few people to be able to give away some awesome stuff, but we need to grow to be able to do that more. And I don't know. Whatever that entails. Fuck it, whatever. Anyway, thank you for listening. Me and Ryan are off to the after show. Stay awesome, everybody.
And stay nerdy.